your own emotions can cloud judgment. And that's why trading is such a difficult thing. And I try to explain this to people. I sat next to guys on Wall Street, and I always compare them to those bears you see in the wild that are the older bears that have these scars all over their face because they made it through all the tough times. And these prop traders on the floor that are like in their 50s, you walk by them and they got this air about them and they're a little gruff. But towards the end of the day, if you're nice to them and you bring them a coffee, they'll sit you down and maybe give you some tips, but they've been through it. And they'll be the ones that tell you, the trend is your friend and all those things from market wizards, right? And, don't get emotional about stock, Gordon Gekko line, right? But it really is a battle with your own emotions. It's fear and greed on a minute by minute basis. And that's why most new traders fail, right?
You could be 100% right. And if you're too greedy, you could end up losing money. And then you start freaking out, and then you take an unlevered trade that you lost money in, and you're like, oh, let me leverage a trade. And then you're like, oh, wait, maybe I'm going to add more money and leverage another trade. Now, instead of losing a couple $1,000s, you're out 20 grand or 200 grand, whatever, you're playing with, millions, I don't know. And that's why I love the algorithms. It eliminates all of that stuff. But because it's node-based, normally with an algorithm, you're kind of stuck in a box, versus a node-based algorithm, all of that artistry that, if you remember back in the day, that's what trading used to be, somewhat of an art. At least that's what they told us.
Yeah.
It allows you to see, what do you see on the chart? And it's easy to quantify that because it's drag and drop. You don't have to try to convert. It's literally as easy as it can be.
Wow. This is amazing. Okay. So they always say 95% of crypto traders lose money because they probably get emotional and they're so new to the game. They probably make all the newbie errors. Monoquant, you've literally created it to just save all of these people, right?
Yeah.
And if they don't know how to do it, you can copy someone. But like you said, you can drag and drop and literally see what you're doing. You can see what the experts are doing, and it's specifically built for crypto.
Yeah, it's specifically built for volatility expansion, very aggressive markets. So a lot of my background was FX and derivatives. So that's kind of what I was expecting crypto to be. It is kind of like that, in my opinion, just a more fast version of that. It's just a little bit quicker, a lot bit quicker. But that's really what it is. So, our systems do work in crypto, and that's where we're focused right now. But in the background, we also have all the data and are working on more so from regulatory stances to be able to work into the traditional markets. But it's going to be the same thing. The traditional markets need systems like this where you can keep up, because discretionary trading is becoming a lot harder, and markets are extending their hours across the board. So you can't just be on and off like back in the day. There's the bell isn't just the end of it. There's extended hours, and each year it seems to keep going.
What the London Real Investment Club actually does for you, it gives you the keys to open that door to the inside deals. In the last 3 weeks, I've participated in 3 incredible deals: a layer 2 Bitcoin protocol, an incredible AI protocol. The deal flow is beyond what I expected. I don't think I've ever seen a model like this that just gives average folks the opportunity to be behind the deals, and that's exactly what we've done. Not only that, you get to hang out with Brian Rose every week. And for me, that was huge, because I look at Brian as somebody who's not only an expert in the space, and I think is on the leading edge, but just the leading edge of thought with London Real and the work he's doing there. To anyone who's taking a serious look at this, I know it's a big decision. It was a big decision for me and my family, and it is one of the best decisions I've ever made. So I wish you all the best, and hope you come join us.
So the days of the human-only trader are becoming extinct.
Yeah, I remember back when I was literally still at the funds, there was making, are you a quant trader or are you becoming an execution trader? They were killing off the prop traders, which made no sense to me, because those are the guys that understand the market. That's great that you can program stuff, but if you don't know the actual market, that's where you're going to have issues. And I think that's the Monoquant edge that we have over companies, is there's other people building systems, and one of the reasons maybe they're failing is because no one in there, building it was an actual trader.
Yeah.
They were quant guys only, so you don't understand all of the nuances of the actual trader. You didn't actually trade.
Right. So let me translate what Drew is saying. So they hired me from MIT because they wanted me to price their derivatives models. And so you do all this quant, you run all these algorithms, And then you say, look, I've got the strategy to make money. And the model is telling you what to do. Meanwhile, there's the guy on the floor who's been around for 10 years or 20 years. He's placed the bets. He's seen the crazy things happen, the black swan events. And he knows sometimes a lot better than you. And so when the model's telling you this thing, he can look at you and say, bro, you're about to make a big mistake. And so he's usually the guy that throttles back the model from making some big mistakes. And I guess what you're trying to say is, if you try to go all quant, you're going to get into some dangerous territory and maybe even completely break the bank. You need some of that old school knowledge or some of those old prop trading guys, and you bring that on Monoquant to the masses.
If you're a quant and you're succeeding, you're usually a very special guy. And, there are some funds, like, especially traditional, that are amazing at it. But that's not a very large population. Right? For the average person, you can hop on a Monoquant and just build a strategy. You back test it. If it doesn't, maybe you want to make a little bit better risk, you can use the LLM. Then you back test again. And then when you're happy, you paper trade it and eventually go live. LLM is the learning language model.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.